Okay, some of y'all was asking how I cook my brown beans. And I apologize, I didn't video it as I was doing this, but I believe I've already made a video before. But I'll kind of walk y'all through it. I use 2 pounds of dried pinto beans. I call them brown beans. I wash them. I sort through them to see if there's any little rocks in there or anything, because they can be in there because they're bringing them out of the dirt, so little rocks could be in them. And I get them put in my pan and I fill it up just to about the beans are covered, because when we bake hams we save the leftovers and then I get a bunch saved up and frozen, and that's what I use in my beans because we love a lot of ham in our beans. A lot. So this is what they're looking like. Let's try to show y'all. You can see that. You can see all the ham I got in there. I bring them to a rolling, after I get the ham put in, I bring the water up to about right here on the pan. And then I turn the heat down to about a 3 on my gas stove. And I put a lid on them and I let them simmer. And I know y'all gonna ask me how long, but I don't time them. I just let them slow simmer until the beans are good and done. I need to get my lid back on here now. And I always check the water level, and if the water's come down too far, then I'll take a glass, just a regular 8-ounce glass, and I'll put a glass of cold water in there. And that's something my mom always did when she cooked beans. She'd always keep an eye on them. I'm home and I like cooking them on the stove. That's how my mom and my mama made them, and that's how I like to cook them. Some people use their crock pot. That's fine. Some people soak their beans so they'll cook faster, and that's fine. I'm old-fashioned. I still like to cook them the old-fashioned way. And when I've got the time, and I just slow cook them on the stove, and they're so good. Now, I don't add salt and pepper to them because the ham obviously is going to have some salt cook out of it, but I just let each one of my family members, if they want salt and pepper, they can put it in their bowl of them when they get them. And I'm going to be making cornbread. And I'm going to show y'all. We tried the Lodge cornbread mix that makes the cast iron pans. It was good, but we just wasn't real sold on it. So we know we're not buying that no more. I can make homemade cornbread, good cornbread. And my brother and me, we're about the only two that really likes that. And this is what my sweet Eric and the boys like. Fleshman Simply Homemade Baking Mix cornbread. And it is sweet. I think it's a little too sweet, but they like sweet cornbread. So this is what I'm going to be fixing to go with the beans. I've got to get my potatoes peeled and cut up and washed. And I'm going to fix a big cast iron skillet of fried potatoes. Now, I know some of y'all going to want to see that, so I will try to video that for you. It's nothing glamorous, believe me. It's just a simple old country fashioned way of frying potatoes. But boy, they taste good, you know that. And I'm going to cut up a white onion to have with our beans. Now, I like onions in with my fried potatoes, and some of the other family does too. But our youngest son, he doesn't want onions in them, so I tried to accommodate him. So at least they're going to get their fried potatoes. So I'll be back and show y'all how I do that. Okay, I'm getting ready to fry these potatoes. I've got some avocado oil in my skillet, And I added some bacon grease to it because I didn't have enough bacon grease to just fry the potatoes. I've got my skillet good and hot, and I'm going to put my potatoes in. You can cut them however you want to. It don't matter how they're cut. There's no wrong way, no right way. You just don't want them to be super thick. So here we go. Now I'm going to salt and pepper them. Now, some people cover them, some people don't. I don't cover mine. I'll never remember my mom or mama covering them either. So, you can cover them and keep them covered about 8 to 10 minutes if you want to, and then take the cover off and finish cooking them. Or you can just leave them like I'm doing and cook them that way. And there'll probably be somebody else say, that's not how you fix them. But you know what? You fix them how you want to. You cook how you want to, not how somebody else tells you to do it. You cook for your family the way you want to, hon, and it'll all be good. Now, I'm just going to let those cook for a while, and then I'll be flipping them over. And you want them to get a nice brown on them if you can. And sometimes that's not possible to get it on all of them because I got to fix so many of them. So we're just going to let these cook. Sometimes towards the end you might have to add a little bit of extra grease. That's just something that you learn as you cook. And I may have to add a little more. Right now I don't know. We're going to see how this goes. So I'll be back in a little bit. Now I've turned a few and you can see they're getting that brown crispiness on them. So I'm cooking these in my 13.5-inch cast iron skillet. So they got a little ways to cook, but they're going to be good, y'all. My fried potatoes are done. My sweet Eric's on his way home from work, so as soon as he gets in, we'll eat. I've got my plate fixed. We're still waiting on my sweet Eric, and yes, I'm eating off of a Winnie the Pooh plate. I use child-size plates. I've got my plate fixed. We're still waiting on my sweet Eric, and yes, I'm eating off of a Winnie the Pooh plate. I use child-size plates.